A $40 late fee. That's all it took. One forgotten movie, one overdue fine, and one very angry engineer who decided, instead of just paying the bill, to burn the entire video rental industry to the ground. Today, Netflix is worth over $200 billion. It's in 190 countries. It has over 260 million subscribers. And it changed forever the way the entire world watches content. But it almost never existed. This is how the empire began. It's 1997. Silicon Valley is electric. The internet boom is exploding. Everyone trying to figure out what this crazy new thing called the World Wide Web is actually good for. Every single morning, two guys carpool together from Santa Cruz to Sunnyvale for work. One of them is Reed Hastings, the other, Marc Randolph. And every single morning, stuck in traffic, they throw ideas back and forth. Personalized shampoo by mail. Custom dog food delivered to your door. Most ideas were pretty bad. Reed would straight up tell Marc his ideas weren't that great. Which, honestly, fair enough. But one day, Marc came up with something that made Reed go quiet. What if you could rent movies? By mail. No late fees. No driving to the store. Just DVDs delivered straight to your door. But would a DVD even survive the mail? There was only one way to find out. They grabbed a used CD, not even a DVD, just a CD, stuffed it in an envelope and mailed it to Reed's house. The next morning, the CD arrived. Perfect, not a scratch on it. An empire was about to be born. On August 29, 1997, Netflix was officially founded. Reed put in $2.5 million from selling his previous company. They launched with 30 employees and 925 movie titles. And then, reality hit hard. The website barely worked. DVDs showed up scratched. Customers complained. The company was burning through cash. And Blockbuster, with 60,000 employees and 9,000 stores worldwide, didn't even know Netflix existed. Now, you've probably heard the story. Reed Hastings got slapped with a $40 late fee at Blockbuster for returning Apollo 13 too late, got so mad, he decided to start Netflix as payback. There's just one problem with that story. Marc Randolph, the co-founder, later came out and said Reed made the whole thing up. It never actually happened. Reed invented it as a clean, simple way to explain the company's mission to journalists. So the most famous origin story in Silicon Valley is basically a lie. Not a bad start for a company built on entertainment, right? By the year 2000, the dot-com bubble was bursting. Netflix was bleeding money. Reed and Marc were desperate, so they did something bold and a little bit crazy. They flew to Dallas, walked into Blockbuster's headquarters, and offered to sell Netflix to Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster's CEO, John Antioco, basically laughed them out of the room. He thought $50 million for a struggling DVD by mail startup was a joke. Too expensive, too risky, too small. Reed and Marc flew home, embarrassed, broke, but still standing. Today, Blockbuster has exactly one store left on the entire planet. One, in Bend, Oregon. At this point, it's basically a museum. Netflix, $200 billion. That $50 million offer might be the most expensive laugh in business history. By 2002, Netflix was on the stock market. By 2005, they were shipping over 1 million DVDs a day. The red envelope had become iconic, but Reed could see where things were heading. And where things were heading had nothing to do with envelopes. On January 16, 2007, Netflix launched streaming. For the first time ever, you could watch movies straight from your computer. No disc, no waiting, just hit play. The world didn't fully get what had just happened, but Reed did. This was the real product. DVDs had just been the opening act. The streaming wars had begun. And Netflix fired the first shot.
All right, team, final checks.
In 2013, Netflix made its boldest move yet. Instead of just carrying other people's content, they were going to make their own. House of Cards was the first big bet. Then came Orange is the New Black. Then Stranger Things, The Crown, and then Squid Game. a Korean show that became a worldwide phenomenon watched by 111 million households. Netflix didn't just change how we watch content. They changed what gets made, what gets funded, what the world actually sees. Hollywood was no longer just in Hollywood. In 2022, the golden run hit a wall. Netflix lost subscribers for the first time in over a decade. The stock dropped more than 70%, billions in market value gone. The competition had caught up. Disney Plus, HBO Max, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime, everyone wanted a piece of the kingdom Netflix had built. So Netflix made two moves nobody saw coming. First, they cracked down on password sharing. Millions of people were suddenly forced to pay up or get out. Most of them paid up. Second, they launched an ad-supported plan, something Reed Hastings had publicly sworn Netflix would never do. And then, in early 2025, Netflix announced the biggest deal in company history.
Today,
a $72 billion acquisition of Warner Bros. Discovery's streaming and studio assets, bringing HBO, HBO Max, and the entire Warner catalog under the Netflix umbrella. From a $2.5 million DVD startup to a $200 billion empire that just swallowed one of Hollywood's greatest studios. From a carpool conversation in California to a $200 billion empire living in the pocket of over 260 million people around the world. Two guys who got laughed out of a Blockbuster boardroom built something Blockbuster could never have imagined. That's the thing about empires. They never look inevitable from the start. They just look crazy. Which brand do you want to see next? Drop it in the comments, because every empire has a beginning, and we're just getting started. If you made it this far, you already know what this channel is about. Hit subscribe, because next episode, we go even deeper.